roller program. So today is the last one before we have a 3-week break. So we've gone through all the different tiers, so from 1 to 3, all the badges from 1 to 10. So what we're going to do now, we're going to have a little bit of fun today. Not only that, but we're going to try and progress a little bit further. I'm going to go through some different things that are in the level 1 free program, the level 2 free program, and the level 3 free program. So those of you that can jump and spin, you can sort of join in. What I'm going to do as well, I'm going to break everything right down. So if you feel that something's a little bit advanced, don't forget that you can always take it back and just practice the first parts of it. Because remember, when we start doing jumps and things, it's always the preparation for the takeoff and working on the landing position. If you can get those really good, and then the jump part, it's not the easy bit, but it makes it much more easier and safe. You've got a good takeoff edge and a good landing. So we will still work on that. We're going to do some forwards and backwards crossovers. We're going to do bunny hops. We're going to do all sorts today. So have fun. Again, if you feel like anything's too advanced, you can just either watch and observe, or you can just have a little go or go back to the basics of it. So what I'm going to do today, I'm just assuming that you've already done your off-ice warm-up, and you've done a little bit of stretching, a little bit of jogging, skipping, etc. So you're already a little bit warmed up. I know it's quite warm in here today. We'll get on with things. So what I'm going to do to start off with, I'm just going to do some forward stroking, okay? So, just warming up, just general basics to start off with, and then we'll move on, okay? So we're just going to start off in the room, doing my forward stroking. See? Body nice and straight. Step round the corner if you want to go onto your feet, you can do. Or if you remember, we did the single crossover. So single crossover, and then we can carry on. You can circle down side and across. Now, I know some of you are still limited to your space, so obviously you're going to have to adapt this a little bit. Some of the jumps that we're going to do later on, bunny hops, things like that, we only need a small space anyway. So if you've only got a smaller space, you can just keep going up and down, do the 2-foot turn to get round the corners. If you haven't got a bit more room, or you're outside today, the weather's quite good here. I don't think there's any rain, so hopefully you'll have enough space to do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go the other way around. So if you just go down clockwise, okay, and count again, and just extend right and round, okay. So when I'm doing this, just making sure I'm turning out the free leg. So that's the leg that's off the floor. And if you can see, I am really pushing with the side of those wheels. So just turning the foot out, just like you would on ice skates for those of you that are ice skaters. It's really important as well to get that good knee bend as you push. You can turn the free leg out and extend it back. Remember, it doesn't have to be really high to start off with. If you want to extend it a little bit more, you can, but just do it to your ability, okay? So, we're going to move on. Don't forget your stops, so you can do your 1-foot snowplow, you can do your 2-foot snowplow, or you can do a T-stop, which I did. So I'm going to just warm up on my backward stroking now. So I know that backward stroking is on some of these levels, and you can put these into your program. And this is about transferring your weight. So we start off with your toes together, and we're just trying to get the heel in line with the toe, 2-foot glide until I come to a stop. So as you can see with the forward stroking now, I'm moving on from just walking. I'm actually transferring my weight a little bit more from one side to the other. I'm getting a bit more skating. So with that, you'll get a little bit more speed. Okay, gets a bit more exciting. If you feel like you're going to wobble or fall over, it's fine. Just that one on 2 feet. Just keep that upper body slightly forward, and you'll be fine. So I'm going to go back to the backward stroking again. So we start off with that basic position, with our toes together, knees bent, arms in that slight V. Remember, don't be tempted to look down at your feet, because then you'll go too far forward. For those of you that have got stoppers, that will stop you depending on how them stop. Those that have got flat wheels that aren't on a rocker, it's slightly different, so you just have to adapt your weight where your weight is. So I'm going to do a C-shape push, like half a swizzle, and feet back together, push, half a swizzle, feeling how with my toe. As you can see, as I get more confident, I can start to transfer my weight a little bit more. Okay, so that's the backward stroking. Again, if you don't feel like you can do the backward stroking, hold it as long so you're not getting much blood. It's okay, you can still go back to your basic walking and backward marching. That's absolutely fine. You can do your backward wiggles. Some of these things that I'm talking about, you can put in the free program, which has to be a minute long. And you've got so many seconds either way. You can look this up on the Inclusive website. And there's it gives you a list of what kind of things. So in there we've got marching, forward stroking, wiggles, march backwards, forward and backward swizzles. So they're a good one to do as a warm up to get you going. We've got the forward 2-foot glide, glide and dip. So that's another good one. Okay, and you've got the 1-foot glides. So we've got 2-foot jumps, no plough stop. So the 2-foot curves. So all the things that we've been doing, progressing, we're now moving on to this next level. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do the swizzles. So I'm going to move up and do the forward swizzles towards you first. So remember, again, it depends on how much space you can give me to have as more as you move again. So I'm going to start off with my penguin stance and bend my knees, coming up nice and straight, arms is in, and look straight forward, bend those knees, and then yeah, you can have a longer 2-foot glide in between if you've got the space, or you can literally just keep them going, which they're a lot of fun. And then remember, you stop. Remember to give yourself that distance to stop. Remember to look for a point, whether you're outside or in a room. Just remember you've got that point, especially when you're going backwards, that once you know your level with that specific point, that you've got, you can stop. Yeah, okay? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do the backward swizzles. So toes together. I'm going to bend these knees again, pull this tummy in, arms out, my head up, and I'm going to do the backward swizzle. So if you want to do a swizzle and then glide onto your feet before the next one, that's fine. Or you can literally go straight one after another, which is a lot of fun. And again, if you can only get 2 in, and then you need to stop, okay, and then go backwards. That's fine, but this is great fun. I'm having the best time doing these. Just make sure I look for my point, okay, down on 2 feet, stop. And you can bring your feet back into that penguin stance at the end of the backward ones. Okay, so that's the forward and backward swizzles. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to progress onto the 1-foot glide. So this is a really good one as well. So then what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to extend the free leg, so I get my weight a little bit more over my skating leg. If you want to just do the tucking in one, that's fine. Again, space, things like that. So what I'm going to do is start off with my penguin stance, get it, squeeze, transfer my weight, and then stand, and do a nice long glide. Don't worry if you can't hold it that long, that's fine. Try and alternate the feet, because it's really important that you're transferring weight and having a go. You'll always have one leg that's a little bit smoother. So I'm doing my forward stroking. I transfer my weight over to the right leg, turn out, and I hold it wide. Try and keep as still as you can with the upper body. You don't want to be jiggling around. And my weight is right in the middle. For those that are on wheels on a rocker, like mine, my weight is right on that middle wheel or the middle 2 wheels. So you don't want to be leaning too far back. Then if you feel like you can't quite transfer the weight over the skating leg as much, you can do the one tucking in at the side. And that one's much easier. So much easier to do to start off with. Once you've built up your confidence and you find that really easy, then you can move on and just start stretching. Again, the free leg doesn't have to lift too far off of the ground. Okay, so we've done snowflake stop. So for the level 1 free programme, you can select 4 elements. So there's a wide range of all the different things that we've either touched on or we've done on the badge levels, and that you can put together in a routine to a piece of music. So that would be really good fun. So yeah, so that's good. So what we're going to do now, we're going to progress on. So we're going to do things like backward 1 foot glide. We're going to do some bunny hops. I've already done T-stop, so remember the T-stop. So if you don't remember, you can always go back to those videos and watch that on the other levels. So we're going to do some bunny hops, as I say, basic stroking we've already done, 2 foot turns. We're going to do a forward pivot and 2 foot spin and things like that. So what I'm going to do first, we're going to just have a go at some crossovers. If you've only got a small space, that's fine. Because I've got this lovely big room, I'm actually going to try it in a figure of 8. If you want to just do it in a circle one way and then go the other way, that's fine. So I start off in my penguin stance or with my feet in a T. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to do a left and a right. Lead the right arm because I'm going around the circle and stop right. Get to your feet together, 2 foot wide. Rotate your arms across the body. So now leading with my left hand in front of my tummy. Just keep going forward straight a bit. So leading strongly this way, go and stop right with my right shoulder. Keep the hips changing in the middle. And pull the right shoulder back and the left shoulder forward. And off I go down this way. So this is where, as you all know, the warm-up by now, I do the way we stand still and we get a twist. Just so that you get used to leading with one shoulder and pulling back, and then alternating and going the other way. So that's the forward crossovers, figure of 8, and that's good fun as well. Just remember, you will start to speed up, depending on the surface that you're on as well. I must admit, last week I got given some different roller skates to try. The wheels are quite flat on that one. The stopper was on the back, no stopper on one foot, just on the other. And it is a little bit different. Again, you just have to adapt. Obviously, you can't do things going up onto that stopper. It's a bit more difficult. But you can still do things, you just have to adapt it slightly. So, what we're going to do now, I'm going to have a little go at some backward crossovers, because I know some of you have been really, really wanting to do some of these, and I like backward crossovers. So you can either do cross-cuts or crossovers. It's totally up to you. But if you do the crossover, so we bend our knees, do half a back swizzle, point the toe, lift up and cross over. If you want to do a backward cross-cut, still the same thing. You weights over the left if you're going clockwise. You're doing the push, you lead, wheels on and cross, and then back together. It's up to you which ones that you want to do. But to start off with, we usually just do the crossover, where we do the half a swizzle, transfer the weight, lift the heel up and over. So the heel goes in line with the toe, and we drop it across, and then we take the foot from underneath and back together. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to do the figure of 8. If you want to just give them a try one way, so we're going to do crossovers or cross-cuts. In the middle, I do a 2 foot wide change. So this time, I'm going around clockwise. I'm using the left shoulder. And so you can see, I'm looking right over that left shoulder. So now I'm going around anti-clockwise. So I'm putting the right shoulder back, and I'm really looking down the arm over the shoulder. 2 foot wide in the middle change. I'm putting the left shoulder back, going clockwise. Again, I'm looking down the arm. Okay, so if you're doing those crossovers, you do need to make sure that you bend your knees, nice arms and twist, and you are looking over that shoulder. So the arm that's coming back, that's leading the way around the circle. It's almost like I feel like that arm's pulling me around. And I'm looking over that shoulder, just because it gives me a good guidance see where I'm going. If I'm looking where I came from, it's a bit more tricky. So it's really important to practice that twisting, whether you do it standing still or moving, because it does come in quite a lot on 3 turns and things like that. So, say if you want to just do a little circle, that's fine. Okay, I'm just keeping an eye on the space that I've got. If you feel like you can't quite cross the foot over yet, that's fine. You can do the back 1 foot swizzle, leaning into the circle. So if I'm going my clockwise, all my weight is leaning into the circle over the left hip. And the outside foot really just tips in slightly inside your wrist, and that's a good preparation for the crossovers if you're not quite there yet. But again, you can progress to that. You can even do it where you just extend the free leg and put it back together if you want to. So that's the crossovers. So what I'm going to do now then, so again, in the level 2-3 program, you can choose a selection of elements from the level 1, but you can also choose a selection of the elements from the level 2-3 program. So your music can be longer on the level 2, so you can have 1 minute 30 seconds, and you can include swizzles, forward, backward. You can do backward 1 foot glide, which we're going to do in a minute, and there's kind of lots of different things. So you can select the things that you feel really confident on. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to have a go at the backward 1 foot glide. So I'm going to do the backward stroking into this, but you can do wiggles or march. If you feel like you just want to tuck the free leg in, that's fine. If you want to try and extend it forward or back, you can do that either. So it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to do the backward stroking on 2 feet, and I'm just going to point the toe forward for now, and then hold the leg in front. So if you can see, my heel, when I take off the upward glide, is in line with my toe, and my foot is slightly turned out. But you can, as I say, you can just tuck in at the side, that's absolutely fine. So I go again, so transferring my weight on the backward stroking. I say, over the right side, over the left, feet together, just to get my balance, nice push, and turn out. So again, if you feel like you can't do the backward push straight into getting the free leg off in front, you can still do your backward glide on 2 wheels. So you get your balance and your glide, and then you can just push the toe forward to get into this position to stop. But eventually, you can do it from a push and hold. What you will find is, again, eventually, the more you get used to that push, the more speed you'll get. And I must admit, I kind of do like to go fast, and I know you have to be safe and you have to be confident in what you're doing, but it's good fun. So that's the backward glide on 1 leg. Don't forget though, as well, to try and practice it. Hold it 1, 2, 3. See if I get the other one in. The other leg on both feet. It's really important to try and practice it on both feet. Again, you're always going to be a little bit stronger on one side and feel more confident, but the more you can work on the other side as well, the stronger, skater you will be, and you'll become more confident as well. And again, you probably will always feel a little bit more confident on one or the other, but it's worth the practice. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do the 2 foot turns. You can do these going around a circle, or we can do them in a straight line, so we'll do both. Okay, so we'll do forward skating, so I'm going to bend my knees, twist, rotate my arms, cross my body, and turn. I'm going to do a bit of stroking backwards. And depending on what room you've got, stroking, you rotate when you look over the shoulder and do the 2 foot turn. So you can do those in a straight line, or you can do it in a circle, do the 1 foot swizzle, bend your knees, and turn. 1 foot swizzle, bend your knees, and turn. So that's quite good fun as well. So again, if you want to practice that going both ways, you can do that both ways. So that's the 2 foot turns. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have a go at what should I choose? I think. Should we have a go at bunny hop? Okay. So bunny hop. So what I like to do first of all is I I like to practice an exercise where we just glide on one leg and lift the knee. If you haven't got a stopper on the front, so normally we would stop with the toe pick in and push and lift the knee. If you haven't got that, you do have to do the push with the side of your wheels, and then as you bring the leg through, you need to straighten it up a little bit and turn it back out again. So again, you can do it. It does, I know, because the roller skates are quite heavy as well, and they're a bit more what I call clunky. It will make a loud noise, especially in this big room because it's quite echoey. So it won't, it doesn't sound as graceful as it is on the eye. So this is the exercise that I do to start off with. I put my technique just standing still. I push and I lift the knee that I want to bring forward. You see that? You can do it with the left if you want. You will try it with both because then you'll know which leg that you want to bring forward. So I call this the toe knee lift. Okay, so I'm going to do it going all the way. So I'm just going to push, push, lift the knee, push, lift the knee, push, lift the knee. Okay, so I'll stick with back. I'm going to push, lift the knee, push, lift the knee, and push, lift the knee. So that's the start of it. What you want to do as well is, what you'll find is when you start doing bunny hops, always start standing still to start off with. When you do progress and you can do a couple after each other, you will find out they do get a lot faster, so just be careful. When you do push and you lift the knee through, just make sure you don't lean backwards, okay? You don't turn your bottom, so you're just going to keep that tummy pulled in and your body up nice and straight. If you feel you can't do this moving, you can hold on to somebody's hand, or you can hold on to the side if it's safe and there's no obstacles. So what I'm going to do now is progress on from that and actually do the hop. So again, you can hold on to somebody's hand. We can try this. It is very similar to on the ice. So I'm going to push with the pick. I'm going to lift my knee. As I lift my knee, I do my little hop. That didn't sound as noisy as I thought. So watch again. So the toe picks in, push it straight forward. Okay, I lift the right knee through, put my rubber stopper down, and I do the little hop. So your feet kind of do it like this sort of action. If you haven't got the rubber stopper, I will show you how to do that. I did try in these other skates, just so I could try and help. So you do have to push with the side of the wheels, push through, and when you find the side of the wheels going down, so it's kind of you land with your foot still turned out. So just do that again. So imagine if I've not got my stopper, so push through and push. It does sound a bit noisier when you do that. I think the rubber toe pick cushions, the landing on and on. Okay? So a good idea as well with the arms is to swing, a bit like your marching. Okay, so as you push with the toe, I swing my right arm and my left arm, and then I change as I land. So if you do it on the other leg, it's the opposite. And you can do those and gradually build up the height that you get. But bunny hops are really good fun. I know some of my skaters, they all, oh, can I do some bunny hops into things? And you can link that with a drag later on and things like that. So that's a really, really good one. Right, okay. So we're going to move on to the T-stop now. I'm just going to do it really quickly. So push forward, transfer my weight onto the leg that I stand on. Wheels down gently and pull in. Remember on this one, when we do this, I turn the free leg out, so it's going to be nice and gentle on the floor. You don't have to press on that back leg, and then you'll get a nice T-stop position. Okay, so you can do that one in the level 2 free program as well. Okay, we've also got inside and outside edges. So again, you can do this in just one circle. So here, move into the circle and hold and practice that. Or you can do them consecutive curves. So I think these are on the level 3 free program. So we're leading to the left arm in front, feet together in the middle and change, stretch the free leg back, and then lean slightly into the circle. What you'll find as well, the bigger the curves, you do have to push much harder than you would on the ice. You don't tend to go as far on the curve. What I tend to do is when we start, I start with, I'll do the inside ones now. I start with the right leg, opposite arm in front of the inside, and come round, feet together, change the arm, the left leg and right arm in front, and feet together, change the arm. And so there, again, they're a good one to practice, but if you want to just do them on the circle, try and alternate feet again. I think I was on badge 10 on tier 3, where you could practice that one. But the good thing about practicing the outside edges and the inside edges, because obviously when we start doing things like 3 jumps and salcos and toe loops, we want those nice edges going in. So it's a really good idea to practice those outside and inside edges. Okay, so what we're going to do now, and I really like this one, it's a pivot. And some of you may have had a go at this on your eyes. Again, I'm going to use the stopper, and you can go whichever way that you like. You can go forward pivot, backward pivot. So if you watch, I'll put my stopper and bend that knee on into the floor, lift my heels, I wind my arms up a little bit. What I'm going to do is lightly pushing it out and doing a bit of a swizzle, and it takes you. Okay? And you can do that on the other foot, you see? And you can also do this backwards. So put your toe in, toes together, a bit like you're going to start backward skating with this pushing foot. I do one push, and I pivot round. And again, wind the arms up, one push, and I pivot round. Okay? So again, you could do pivot, and there's also like a way you can pivot in on the circle and squeeze in. But the pivot that I like to do, obviously if you haven't got the stoppers on the front of these skates, that one's going to be a little bit tricky. You're going to have to do the one where we just kind of scoop around, pivot in. So almost like a what we used to call a drape or a lunge going forward. You can pivot that round as well. To do the lunge, you can have a little bit more speed. The knee bent on the inside of the circle, lean in and pivot it round to the tops. You go the other way. So if I'm going clockwise, I bend my right knee, put on my weight over that right knee, put my right shoulder, pivot round. Again. So you can do that on a lunge as well when you're skating. So we've already done the forward crossovers. So I'm going to move on. We're going to have a go at a drag, and then we'll try and link the bunny hop with the drag. Okay? So the drag is like turning the foot out for a T-stop, which some put it slightly further behind, bend the front knee. Now a lot of people make the mistake on this of leaning the tummy right forward. So when you do the drag, you have to bend the front knee in front of you, turn the foot out at the back, and you do have to keep your hips and your shoulders quite square, facing forward, and try and look with you going. Don't look down at your feet, because that's quite tempting. And again, pull this tummy up and up nice and straight. You don't want to lean forward. A lot of people lean forward on this one. So I'll take it away from you. So always go one, 2 feet to get balance, and then okay? When you do this, you will find that your wheels will slow you down a bit. Okay? Can you see? It does slow you because the rubber goes across the floor and it kind of brings you to a stop. So you can't hold this drag like nowhere near as long as what you can do on the ice. But again, if you feel like you're struggling doing that moving, you can always do that holding onto the side, holding onto somebody's hand. Or just practicing the positions really good. Okay? So we're going to link that together. If you want to do a 2-foot hop, you can, 2-foot jump. We did that on the badge levels. It's on the badge levels between 1 and 10, where we did the 2-foot jump. So if you want to do that instead of bunny hop, that's absolutely fine. If you want to have a go at the bunny hop that I did earlier with the toe pin, you can do. So I'll do it away from you. So I'm going to put my toe pin, do the bunny hop, one push, and do the drag. Okay? So toe pin, nice bunny hop, and then okay, go. So that's a funny pinch and drag. So you could link that together in a program. I know one of my skaters, she always wants to put it at the end of the step sequence. So when you start linking steps together, which that's on the level 3 free program, you can do a basic step sequence that can include, I don't know, forward swizzles, backward swizzles, mohawk, chasses, 3 turns, and things like that. So, so that's the bunny hop down into the drag. So we're going to have a go now at a 2-foot spin. We're going to have a go at a 1-foot spin as well shortly. When you do this, if you've got no toe pick, then you can do this on a circle. I'll show you both. If you've got the toe pick, you can push around, rotate, and then push. Again, I do find it slows right down on the wheels, and I think the spins are harder on wheels than the jumps, to be honest. But you can still do them. It's just slightly different, and again, it's all about adapting slightly. So to do it, if you did a left right and you spin to the left, do the spiraling curve or lean over the left foot and then pull spin. As you can see, I stall because I can't get the speed that I need. Yeah, that was a little bit better. I find when you're spinning on these skates with the rocker, when you do the 1-foot spin, you do need to be on the front wheel. If your feet are flat, again, it's harder to spin because you do have to lift up slightly towards the front, so you press on the ball of your foot. And it is, again, a bit trickier because everything's a lot slower. I think on one of my ice skaters who's got the same skates as myself, when she's skating and doing her jumps and spins, and she can have a go, she can do sit spin, camel, and all those kind of spins. She did say it's harder work. You have to push harder and you have to get your weight just right. It's harder work because it isn't so, it's a bit more effort because of the floor that we skate on. But it's still, you can still do that. But it's worth a practice at the 2-foot spin and the wind up and everything else before you do it. Okay, so we're going to have a go at a 3 jump. So what I'm going to do is we'll have a go standing still. So if you've only got a little bit of space, you only need that space. Just be careful when you do the land that you've got enough room behind you. You don't want to bump into anything. Now, everybody has one way that they feel they want to rotate. And sometimes by now you know there's a way that you favour. So I like to rotate to my left, and some people prefer to rotate to the right. I have known some skaters that start off one way, and then when they start doing the jumps that rotate more, they decide that they can rotate that way. So we've had a bit of a swap round. But again, there is one way that you'll find more natural that you want to rotate. So we'll start off with the feet in the T position. I'm going to bend my knees. To start off with, I'm just going to push and do the outside curve. So I'm going to do it on my left, but if you feel like you want to rotate to the right, then you need to be on your right foot in front and you need to be on the right outside. So I'm just going to push and rotate just so I get a feel for that edge going around. So if we were going to jump off the ice, just a 2-foot jump, we would bend our knees one way and we drop our arms by our side and we'd use our arms to push through. So if we just have a go at that with the edge, because that's the preparation of the jump. So again, I want good knee bend on the outside edge. We're going to pull these arms down so they drop like you would do if you were doing a really high 2-foot jump off the ice. As I push, I'm going to bend. So push and bend and pull the arms back. So my weight is right over that left side. And you do want that knee bend and the free leg extended back. So if you watch again, so as I push, I pull the other, drop the arms back to down by the side, and I'm going to get ready to push through. So again, if you don't want to try this straight away by yourself, you can do it holding on to somebody. It's a good idea. If you've got something nice and sturdy to hold on to, a bar or something like that, but just be careful because you need to be safe. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to rotate. So I'm just going to do half a rotation. Yeah, so I start off here, facing forward, I'm going to jump up and I'm going to move backwards. So what we should do first, before we do the jump, we're just going to have a go at the outside edge. Okay, first I'm going to jump down to the outside edge, and I'll go over that side. I'm then going to just turn backwards, so you can turn backwards however you like. And I'm going to be jumping from left to right if I rotate to my left. So I'm just going to have a go at that landing position. Okay, so when I land, you want if you're landing on your right leg, left shoulder slightly in front, and then right shoulder at the side. So my arms are kind of like a bit of an L shape, because it's called check-in, the jump. And I know we're only doing half a rotation, but if you get used to doing that check-in on the landing now, it will be there naturally when you progress onto the jumps at a bit more rotation. And that just stops you from carrying on rotating, so you can get a nice landing position. So again, if you just want to have a look at the landing position, and if you don't feel ready to jump, you can just have a go practicing the landing position. So I've got a good knee bend, my free legs turned out, and I've got this arm checking the left shoulder in front. If you jump the other way, you'll go the other way around, and you'll land on your left leg. So your right leg turns out to the back, lean into the circle, but this time I check forward with my right shoulder for the landing. Again, I know we're only doing half a rotation, but it's really important to get this checking position so it becomes more natural, so that later on you know that when you land, you can do that nice check, which helps get that lovely landing position, and you get nice marks for the edges going in and out of the jumps as well. Those are good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the jump. Again, if you don't want to do the jump that side, you can just practice the edges. You could hold on to somebody and just practice doing half a jump onto your feet. So you start facing one way. Again, this is good for practice off ice. Obviously, you're not going to go around on the edge, but you can practice this off ice as well, which is a really good idea. Lots of my skaters, and I know the top level skaters do. Some of them do on the stuff. So you do have to push harder on your wheels, again, because it's much slower. So, and you do need a little bit of a push to get through with the free leg and get that good landing position. Okay. So here I am again. So I'm pushing onto the through and hold. And it does feel a little bit different to on the ice, not as smooth. And again, because the skates are heavier and the surface is a bit slower, you do have to adapt a bit, but you can do it. So eventually you could do that from the backward crossovers and the preparation edge going into the jump. But for now, if you don't feel that confident, you can just do that from standing still. So push, through, and hold. Okay, so if you want to do it from the crossovers or cross cuts, just start off doing 1 or 2. Okay, you can do your preparation edge first, bend the knees, turn the knees out. Again, don't jump too high to start off with. You can step this through a little bit. Again, you can always practice with, when you start doing that from a little bit more speed, you can just practice that crossover, the edge going in, bending the knees, and pushing, ready, jump. So you can practice the preparation. And you can also practice that landing position as well. That area. So you can check the arm, and you can do that from the crossovers. Okay, so that's the 3 jump. So the next jump is the Salchow, that's in the level 3 free skating program. So to start off with, you need to practice your 3 turn. Now, it's really important that you practice the 3 turn going into it with the free leg extended behind. So some people like to do the 3 turn with the foot tucked in, and that's fine. But on this, we need it extended at the back. So it's a really, really good idea. Again, you can hold on to somebody's hand if you've got somebody with you in your household, or in the room. You can bend your knees. So I start with my feet in my T again. Bend my knees again. I rotate to my left, so I've got my left arm in front of me and my right one slightly back. And I'm going to lead in on that. And all my weight's going to be over that turn. What you'll find as well, when you do the 3 turn on your wheels, it is a bit slower, so you have to push quite hard into the 3 turn. And again, the checking position with the arms and the shoulders going in and out of the jump, you have to be much stronger with those positions and more definite. You can't sort of kind of just be willy-nilly. So practice 3 turn again. So you rotate into your right foot in front, feet in your T, right arm forward, left arm slightly back. I'm going to bend so the leg you're doing your 3 turn on, you want the thumb and hold. Okay? So when you do this 3 turn as well, you'll find that you'll rock quite a lot forward. Your heel will lift up quite a bit. And sometimes with some of my skaters that have done this, the wheels have lifted and they kind of have a little panic. It's just because it does lift higher than on a figure skating blade, and they're used to skating on a figure skating blade. So just be careful of that. So if you just practice again, right foot here and hold. So what we're going to do then, we're going to bring the free leg through after the 3 turn. Okay, so it comes around from the back through. Yeah, so we lift. Because I'm jumping to my left, I'm going to lift my right foot through, push it through. I'm going to lift the right hip as I come through the jump. So that's this position. So it's a bit like we did earlier on with the knee bunny hop. Instead of doing it straight, it's like we're going to round forward. So I think about pushing this. I lift my right knee and hip. It's like I'm going round. You can practice this. Yeah, just turning the toe slightly in. That's the position we're going to get into. And then we're going to jump. Okay? So, again, this is a good, you can do this, you don't need an awful lot of space on this one. And you can practice this standing still. It is a bit more difficult because it's a lot slower. So going to bend my knees, leading with the left arm, right shoulder back, head up. So do the 3 turn, breath, kick through and jump. And as you can see, because I'm doing it from standing still, it's a bit trickier to get the landing out of it because it's quite slow. Okay, so that's worth a practice. And again, break it down and do it in little sections, and you can work on that. And again, have a go off ice. You can hop the 3 turn around. I know that Paul Hopper on the Inclusive website has been doing a lot of off ice jumps and rotations, and he's done this Salco. So I know that we're running out of time, so we're just going to have a quick go at, we'll leave the toe move, and we'll do that next time. Just going to have a go at a forward spiral. So you can do this in a straight line. If you need a little bit of speed, we're going to do crossover, and just do the spiral. This is the spiral. Okay? So as you can see, you need a little bit of room on that. Again, it's a really good idea before you try this on your skates is to practice it off ice, holding on to something, somebody, and you can just practice that position. So as I skate, I transfer my weight, the body goes forward quite slowly. You don't want to go too quickly, and the leg into the back. The leg at the back is turned right out. So if I was in my T-stop position and I put my leg right up, it would stay in that turned out position. You don't want it in like this. Yeah, you don't want it like this. It needs to be turned out like this. So I'll do the spiral there. So around we go. Turn my leg out up, and it stays in this position. Okay? So by turning the toe and the free leg out, on the leg that's in the air, it opens the hips and it just helps keep your weight over that leg that you're spiraling on. So that's a really good one. So that's a forward spiral. You can do that backwards as well. Again, if you want somebody to hold on to you, you can do backwards stroking into it. Or you can do backwards crossovers if you're doing it on a curve. I think the main thing is when you do the backward spiral is just remember to look how much room you've got when you're doing that, because obviously you're not going to be able to look behind you, so you need to judge your space on that one. So we've had to go at the forward, outside, inside edges, had to go at the 3 turns. So you can do some simple footwork, so this is quite good fun. So you can start off with, let's see, so you make your own up from this and all the things that we've done before. So we start with a pivot and a bunny hop, forward swizzle, a 2-foot turn, 2 backward swizzles. And that's all I've got room for there, but you can always do it so you do so much and just keep going backwards and forwards, okay? So I'll just do that again. So I'm going to do a pivot, okay? I'm going to do a bunny hop, I'm going to do a forward swizzle, a 2-foot turn, and 2 backward swizzles. Okay? So this is really good fun to add and link together all the elements that you've worked hard on, that you feel confident with. But you can put 3 turns in there. You can put forward chasses in that simple step sequence. I know one of my skaters has started doing a mohawk cross in hers. And again, you need to practice all the elements first, breaking them right down and practice them individually first. But when you feel confident, you can make them all together. You don't have to have a pivot in, it's your choice. You do what you feel is good for you. So the simple footwork can be any of those basic things we've done before. So just do this once more. Look, so I've got a pivot, I've got a bunny hop, I've got a forward swizzle, a 2-foot turn, and 2 backward swizzles. Again, if you feel like you've not got enough room, you're only just getting forward swizzles in. You can always do the turn to around the corner, turn backwards, and squeeze it in that way. So you can you just have to keep doing up and down. Again, I'm quite lucky today. It's a lovely big room and lots of space, so I can add lots of things together. Okay, so we'll just quickly go on to the 1-foot spin. So when you do this, I think it's a good idea just to start off from again, just lifting in. So some people again want to spin to the left, some people want to spin to the right. So you'll have a particular way that you feel more comfortable with. So if you put the left or right toe in, I bring my arms across to that side. I'm going to push off the hip and I'm going to lift my wheels. Can you see as well, you do stick a little bit. So you're not, to start off with, you're not going to go around lots and lots of times like you would on the ice. It does take a little bit of getting used to. Okay? Again, the wheel, you want to be spinning on that very front wheel. Okay, so if you can see, if I'm on the ice, I would not lift my heel nowhere near that much, doing one foot spin. Okay, it would be much lower. But on these skates that I've got, I do have to go like, well, if you haven't got that stopper in front, just be very, very careful because it might go from underneath. All right, so here we go. So pushing, bending my knees and pulling in. And as you can see, it does take a little bit of getting used to. I think one, because it's much slower and your wheels stick a little bit. And again, don't try and go for 4 times round straight away. Just try and do half and then a full one and just gradually build up, which you get used to, because it is a huge difference on the spin on what part of the wheel that you're spinning on. Again, I've got one of my skaters, she does all the spins, she does upright cross toe, front catch, sit spin, camel, and it has taken a little bit of adapting, and she has said to me, if she feels like she goes on the middle wheels to the back, when she's spinning, it's a no-go, she just stops, because otherwise, you know, you can go flying. So you really do need to get used to what part of the wheels that you need to spin on. And you can feel it also as well. A bit like if you get on the ball of the foot of the blade on the ice, it'll sort of swizz the word, really easy. If I go on these middle wheels, my wheels really stick. And if I go on the heel, as you can see, you're just going to come. So it's really important to get used to your wheels before you start to spin. Start with half, then full, and gradually build it up. So it's time to go, guys. So there's 3 weeks off now. So enjoy the summer. Hope you get lots of nice weather. Stay safe still. Look after yourselves. I'm going to miss you for the next 3 weeks, but I know that we're going to try and arrange to do a class after the 3 weeks. Well, I'm sure Margarita will pass on the information of times and dates and things like that. But you've been amazing, guys. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself, especially over lockdown, just being able to do something that I love. And I know that you guys have enjoyed it and progressed and passed levels and badges. And now you're moving on to this jumping and spinning, and it's even more exciting than it was at the start. So carry on, guys, but please make sure you stay safe, and I shall see you all soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Bye.